Welcome back to Garth's Graveyard Garage. We are back on the old 1963 Chevrolet C-20. We got a lot to do to get this thing on the road, so let's get started. What's going on, everybody? We are back with Bella, the 1963 C-20, and we've got quite the list to get this thing back on the road. Gas tank, tires, brakes, water pump, thermostat, hoses, carb, intake, belts, air cleaner, charging system, don't know yet, window regulator. So yeah, we're gonna wait on the cam. We decided to just do the intake and carb for right now. Later on down the road we might do the cam, but we want to see how this engine's gonna perform. Make sure it doesn't have any quirks, any problems. We should be all right. But we're gonna get started, I think, first with getting the water pump, carb intake off of here, belts. We got to figure out which water pump this is because it's a short neck, which is leading me to believe this engine might have come out of a car, because this wasn't, they didn't offer a 5.7 350 in this model truck. So we got to figure out which water pump this is, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll get it off there. Might have to take it to O'Reilly's and do some comparisons to figure out exactly which one it is. Do some measurements. We'll get it figured out. But I guess let's get started with, well, I don't know, something. You guys are gonna have to bear with me if I'm dragging a little. I'm trying to get back into the school schedule since the little one's back in school. But we're going to tackle the tires and brakes first. That way, at least if I need to, I can move this truck around. So let's get these wheels off here. Alright, well, one crusty wheel off. Let's see what we got going on underneath the drum. There we go. It's still nice and greasy, so good sign. From everything I've seen so far, it looks like whoever the old timer was that owned this truck took pretty decent care of it. Looks like it was just his old work truck. Bearings are actually great. Alright. Good news there. This might be one of the first times we pulled a truck out of the woods that didn't have seized wheels on it. Wow. Huh. These brakes were done not long ago. Well, I say long ago. They were done before it was parked, and their signs, these drums may have already been turned once. The drums are actually fine. Seal looks alright. Bearing is good. Huh. I'm getting lucky on this one. It looks like all we're going to have to do is pop the wheel cylinder out and change that. The only problem we might run into is, which we're going to change it anyways, this rubber line, getting it off there. But we should be alright. We get a torch. Ugh. Some old grease. But alright, well, let's start getting these wheel cylinders off. We'll knock this one out and then work our way around. Alright, I'll show you guys what I'm working with here. I put them up in here. Yeah, so good times. Let's see if I can get some vice grips up into that one, which I kind of doubt. Probably going to have to get this hose off here. So we'll tune back in just a second when I get it off. Alright, I got tired of fighting with it. Figured we'd just do it the right way and just take it off so we can access it right here. Just 3 bolts and it comes off, but of course they're rusted on there. So it took a few minutes, but it's off, and we'll probably have to do the same thing on the other side. So let me continue getting this wheel cylinder off and then we'll put it back together. Got all of that put back together, new wheel cylinders in, and unfortunately it didn't come with new bolts, which I think normally they don't, so we had to use the old ones, but got them in there. I had to use a star socket to get them on, and then vice grip them the rest of the way. So now let's get the new brake hose on and get it hooked up to the brake line, and then grease up the bearings real good, and then we'll get this put back together. Alright, hopefully that's the right brake line. It looks correct. So if we can get it in here. There we go. Probably should be good. Go. Let's see. All right. Grease this bearing up real good. And get our nut back on there. Let's see. There we go. One side down. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the other side unless we find something funky or something goes completely haywire. So we'll tune back in when we're moving to the back. Well, just noticed our first problem. You see, I ordered a brand new set of tires for this truck. Some real nice hand-cook all-weather tires, 16-inch. And when I checked what size tires we needed, I checked this one. Well, that's a 16-inch rim that came off this truck, not this truck. These old rims are actually 16 and a half. So, unfortunately, it would have worked. I used to have the 16-inch wheels that came off this truck, but I sold them a long time ago, or donated them, or did something with them. So yeah, I think it's gonna be easier. We spent all that money on those tires. I need to find some 16-inch 8-lug Chevy wheels that will fit on here. So I gotta go do some research real quick and see if I can find some, because we need to get some wheels on this truck. All right, it's a couple days later. Got the other side knocked out, and thanks to the injured Iceman, got a set of rims. I decided to hit up several people around the lake to see if anybody had rims, and I decided to check in on the Iceman, see how he was doing, and tell him what I needed. I needed some 8 by 6.5 lug wheels, and could be Chevy or Dodge. And then he said, I actually need to go, or I got a call to pick up a old Dodge van. It probably has those wheels on it. So I said, well, I'll help you since you're injured. We'll let's go pick up that van and take it to scrap and get the wheels. So that's what we did. Got the Iceman out of the house. I'm sure his wife is thankful, because he's probably driving her nuts. And you're welcome. But we're moving on to the backside now. Gonna go ahead and pop these axles loose, get them out, and inspect these drums, see what we got going on. Alright. Doubt these have ever been off, or if it has, it's been a while. Oh, it's actually got oil in it. I'll grab the pan. Alright, let's get the retainer nut off of there and get that off. Get out of there. These pads are new too, or these shoes. Yeah, somebody's been in here before. The seals are new. Actually, the bearings are new. Everything in here is new. Huh. Alright. Get my air tool, blow all this out, spray it down with some brake cleaner, and looks like, yeah, this one, hopefully, we don't have to fight getting that wheel cylinder out. But, no, that's awesome. Well, everything's already been done. I mean, it's been a long time, but the parts are still shiny. You can still see the red seals. Bearings look, yeah, they're way too shiny to be old. So someone's been in here before. Awesome. All right. Well, let me work on cleaning this all out and getting that wheel cylinder off. All right. Well, this side's a lot easier. The 2 bolts on the back of the wheel cylinder came right out. All of this came apart real easy, so there we go. A little bit rusty. Yeah, all of this just because the bleeder valves are stuck. But all right, well, let's pop the new one in and get that back together. This isn't really exciting. It's the same as the front one, so we'll tune back in when it's something more exciting than this. All right, we got all the wheel cylinders and brakes done. This side was also rebuilt. There were signs of that. New bearings, new seals, new everything. Problem I have now is, I don't know if you can see, it's wet right there. So we've got a hole in a brake line. So I'm going to replace that one. And then also I ordered a rubber line for the center sear, or center rear. So we're going to change that one out and get that done. So what we're going to do now is pressure wash this engine, because I want to paint it, make it pretty, make it look new. Intake's coming off and carburetor, so we don't have to worry about that getting pretty, but everything else, water pump's going to be replaced. But we want to get all this heavy grease off of it. One of the chemicals I found best that works, and I'm not sponsored by these guys, but the orange stuff by the chemical guys, this stuff's amazing. I've been using it for a while now. I mean, you can hit this with a pressure washer and soap and it'll still be dirty. Spray some of that on there and then hit it with a pressure washer and it comes right off. So very good stuff. Not endorsed, they don't sponsor us, just a good product. But all right, I'm gonna start pressure washing. For engines, I've noticed on the ratios, 1:1 works best. You can even do straight pure chemical if you want, that if you really got a hard job, but 1:1 typically works best. Come back and it's very strong, by the way, but come back and hit it with a pressure washer and it usually gets most of it off. While we let the engine pre-soak with some more degreaser, let's go ahead and see what the whole truck's gonna look like with a power wash. Let's knock that out. we got most of the crud off of it, a lot of the paint, and another spray of the engine. And I needed to get the water pump ordered, so got that off. And one thing I've been running into on this engine is, what is it? We know it's a 350, but it's not out of a truck. And I figured that out by looking at the water pump. Not to mention, when I went to get spark plugs, the spark plugs were different. So I had to take one with me that came out of the engine to match them. And anyways, in ordering the water pump, what I did was found an actual casting number that was still on there, looked up that casting number, and we now know generally what this engine is. This little 350 came out of a 70s model Corvette. So that's cool. So we got the right water pump here now, but we're gonna go ahead and pull off the whole top, the exhaust, the alternator, get all of this off, and then there's a little bit of grease that didn't come off that we'll have to scrape off, and then we'll hit it again. And then get a fresh coat of Chevrolet orange paint on this and make it pretty. So what we're gonna do now is start tearing everything off this engine. Oh, well, there was nothing flowing through that. Yeesh. Let's see, I guess we're going to pop the thermostat off and see what that looks like. Let's see what comes out of here. Not what you want in there. It's all right, we got a new one. Clean all this sludge out of here. The housing's actually still okay. All right. I guess we'll go ahead and get these valve covers off here. So what we got behind door number 1. Whoa, that was a scorpion inside the engine. Not bad. Needs some new oil in it, but not bad at all. Yep, looks good. All right, let's get that intake off of there. Actually, we'll pause on that part because we got to do some painting, and I'd rather this get overspray on it than the new one. So I guess we can get that alternator bracket off. Yeah. Alright, let's leave that off to the side for right now. In exhaust. Wow, the heat flap was still on there. All right, it's the next day and started cleaning and painting the block. Doesn't have to be perfect because this truck's not gonna be perfect, but we at least want it to be somewhat pretty. But now we're gonna go ahead and rip this intake off, and there's a couple spots on the top I need to clean and paint. we'll get all that ready, and then we'll get the new intake put on here. So let's get that one off. Alright, got it all cleaned up and prepped, and here's what we're putting on it. We got a Edelbrock Performer intake and a which model? That 1906 carb. The AVS2 should be a good match for this truck. And then of course they threw in all the studs and intake bolts and fuel line kit and all that stuff, and intake gaskets. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the block prepped, get the gaskets on and the goop, and we'll drop the intake in there. All prepped and ready. Ran a heavy bead. Never use those rubber seals they give you in kits. Edelbrock is smart. When they give you gasket, they don't give you those rubber seals because they don't ever work. Just use a bead of silicone. So, all right, let's drop that intake down in here. The good thing about these aftermarkets is they're very light. There we go. All right. Get some of those bolts started. Everything's lined up good. All right, let's get these torqued down, and then we can move on to the next step. So I thought I was recording this whole time, but I wasn't, so I paused when I realized I wasn't, and I was talking to myself. But anyways, here we are. Water pumps on, got the valve covers cleaned off, got all the rust grinded off, use the wire wheel, cleaned them all off, did kind of a, what do they call that, ripple paint job on it with some, and getting ready to put the other one on. Right now I guess we'll go ahead and get the thermostat and housing on, and then we'll set the carb up there for right now. I need to find TDC so I can get the distributor stabbed back in, and then we'll go from there. But let's get the thermostat on real quick. We're gonna go with a 180 flavor. This engine called for spec 190, but I like it to run a little cooler, so we're gonna go with a 180. Get this gasket on there. All right, put some goop on it. All right. Now, housing and bolts. right. I think that's looking pretty good. Definitely does not look like the same engine that was in this truck. What do you think, Muppet?
Good. It's pretty.
It's pretty? Yeah. All right. Well, this battery's about to die, so we'll tune back in just a second. All right, I think what we're gonna do now is test fit these hooker headers, get those on there, and it looks like they should clear. So let's find out. Let's get this side on. All right, let's see. Does it all fit? Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay. Still pretty decent access to the spark plugs too, so we'll be good there. You want to hand me the bolts, Bubby? I'll just hand me one at a time, okay? Thank you. And go ahead and drop them all while you're at it.
I didn't mean to do that.
I knew that was coming because you drop everything.
Yeah, I did.
You better find them all.
I did.
All right, need another one? Hold on to them. I just need one at a time, okay?
I'm not trying to, like, drop them again.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, then I'll lose them all.
Don't do that. Chris will be angry.
Yeah, he will.
All right. I think that looks pretty good. Good morning. It's the next day. Ran out of daylight and had to do other stuff, you know, home stuff. But got both headers on. And now I guess we'll go ahead and stab the distributor. I've got it set to TDC. And man, the lighting over here is funky. A little better, maybe. There you go. All right. Let's get the distributor stabbed in there, and I guess we'll get that part wired up. So let's do that now. All right. Alright, the one is going to be right here, which I guess is close enough. Alright, so there's one. Okay. Go ahead and get the... Alright. Got it. Alright, let me clean up the distributor hold down clamp, get a coat of paint on it because it's rusty still. Get that on there, and then we'll get the cap on. All right, we got the hold down bracket on there, and just for fun, I'm gonna surprise Chris with something cool. Get this rotor off of here. we're going to put a transparent kit on here. Since he's a rock and roll musician, he'll appreciate the light show. It also makes it real easy to find number one. Go ahead and pull that up a little bit. All right. Sweet. So if you've never seen one of these before, when it spins, you see all the electric action going on. Go. So now we know number one, so we can see it. So number one's going to be right there. And if we need to move it, we can. So there we go. Oh, I guess we're going to hook that back up. Okay. Alright, there we go. Distributor's in. Number one's right there. And it's cool because we can see it lined up. So then we can do our movements we need to. So we can advance it or retard it, whatever we need to do. Alright, let's get the carburetor officially bolted down. And then we got to change out this fuel inlet to a front mount. One thing I just noticed, we want to use this original accelerator rod. It doesn't quite fit through this hole, so I think what we're going to do is just drill that out, and we'll do that. But what we need to do right now is get this fuel inlet mounted on here like that. Tighten that down, but then we can bring our fuel right down to the fuel pump. So let me tighten that down real quick, and then we'll drill the accelerator port out. And by the way, I am skipping around a little bit on the filming process because according to the analytics, a lot of you skip around through the boring parts anyways, so I'm doing or using my best judgment to avoid the boring parts, but that's why I'm skipping around. But let's go ahead and drill this out now. And this part I'm filming just because, you know, something could go wrong. Or just not happen because you have a really dull drill bit. All right, I gotta have something better than that. Try a different drill. There we go. Yeah, helps when you got a good bit. There we go. Do it a little bit bit more just so it doesn't get hung up on us. Ah. All right, good enough. Well, that accelerator rod was a little too long because when I checked inside the truck, the pedal was already halfway down and there was no room to thread it in anymore. So I took it, still hot, cut an inch out of it and threw a weld on it because we're doing things cheap. So now I'm going to grind this down, make it pretty, and then probably throw a coat of paint on it. So let me knock that out real quick, and hopefully it's the right size. We took about an inch, inch and a half out of the middle of it, which should put it right where it needs to be. So we'll find out here in just a second. All right, Chris just showed up and we're gonna get his reaction of seeing this engine for the first time since it was crustified. Had to take a break. Busted I guess there was a very weak bolt. I barely put it into the side of the head and it broke. So I had to do the old weld nut trick onto the end of it and pull it back out. But good to go now. And he's also bringing gifts. All right, let's see what you think.
Oh yeah. That is one pretty mama. Gosh.
The problem I just ran into is the pulley that came off the old water pump doesn't match that. We've got to get the wider bolt pattern.
Okay.
But yeah, it's coming along.
Heck yeah. Oh man, nice and clean.
Yeah.
Clean.
Doesn't even look like the same engine.
Oh, night and day. I love that Chevy orange. Man, you did a great job, Matt.
Thank you. Oh, check out what I added you for a goodie. Transparent distributor, so you can actually watch all the sparks flying around in there.
Man.
I was like, I figure since you know you're a rock star, you'll enjoy the light show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's gorgeous, man. I couldn't ask for her.
Those headers, man, they just set it off. That was the perfect style.
Oh yeah.
Riley, you playing with a dead cicada? Goofball. All right, let's see if we can get this gas tank in here. Got to go under these straps. You can bend them up if you need to. All right, you have to tilt it, and then we got to see if we can get it under this lip. It to come way up. There we go. Okay, lower it down. There you go. You're in now.
Nice.
All right, go back that way, right there. Yep.
And let's line up right on the straps too.
Right on the money. Filter.
Yeah.
This is getting real repetitive of me saying it's the next day, but it is. All right, let me get you up to speed because we had to make a few modifications because we ran into an issue. Had to change the water pump because for some reason the other pulley didn't fit it, the stock pulley. So I bought this aftermarket pulley that was to that spec, but then the crank pulley didn't match. So I bought a new crank pulley and then it still didn't match. So I'm like, you know what? I have a water pump in inventory sitting on the shelf from another project I never used it on, and that made everything work. So I just went ahead and swapped out the water pump, made all the pulleys line up, but what it did throw off was alternator. So this water pump has the brackets for the alternator to the other side. So we're going to move the alternator to the passenger side and get rid of that bracket. So waiting on that bracket to get here so we can get the the alternator mounted on this side. So this setup is slowly turning into what's in Clyde over here. So Bella's looking, yeah, almost like an exact match now. So that's where we are on that. We got the fuel pump all in. I had to go find some screws to get the sending unit mounted. Got the hard line dropped down under the truck. So now all we got to do is run rubber line under the truck up to the fuel pump. Do that. Get the spark plug wires on here and fix the brake lines in the back. Get this thing bled, and I think we'll be ready for our first test drive. So yeah, that's where we are. We got to get started on Billy Ray one of these times, because this thing is hogging my garage and it's not making it easy to maneuver in there. So anyways, yeah. But we're gonna wait till the weather cools down a little bit, because when we demolish what we need to, we're gonna roll it outside. But anyways, all right, back to Bella. Got all that done. Oh yeah, and I got the accelerator pedal working correctly, and valve covers are now bolted down. So that's where we are. All right, I'm not gonna bore you with running the hose up to the fuel pump. I'll knock that out real quick, and then we'll see if we can get the brake lines off the back of the truck. It's gonna be fun. I have to bend one in a really sharp little bend through a funky spot on the frame. I'm probably gonna break something, but we'll see. All right, fuel line is done from gas tank all the way to fuel pump up to carburetor. So let's see where we are now. Gas tank done. Tires, brakes, water pump now done, thermostat done, working on hoses, carb is done, intake is done, air cleaner, charging system we don't know yet, headers are done, window regulator actually started working, ended up not being a bad regulator, ended up just being a bad crank. So let's finish up brakes, tires are, that's later, hoses, which I'm working on, belts. Can't do that till alternator. So, okay, let me see if I can get the brake lines done real quick, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, I don't even know what day we're on anymore, but it's the next morning again. And I know a lot of the bigger YouTuber guys that work on cars, they kind of script out their stuff so they know where they are. I just kind of shoot from the hip, so I'm sorry, this is very raw, and not to mention my schedule is still out of whack from getting back around to the kid going back to school and having to get up at 6 in the morning, and yeah. Anyways, I don't think I showed we got put a flex hose on here. It had the metal hose, or metal, yeah, that style, and it's just so rusted it wouldn't work, so I just went with a flex hose, which is fine, spring loaded, you can put it where you want it. But now I did a parts run this morning. We're gonna go ahead and get the new alternator on. I'm not gonna waste my time messing with that old rusty crusty one. So and we got new brackets, so we're gonna do that right now, and hopefully get that done, belt on, got the wires on. One thing I ran into, I had to order a spacer for the carb, so we're actually going to bring the carb up an inch, because with the air cleaner, it hits the distributor cap. Yay! All right, let's get started on the alternator and getting that old alternator bracket off. All right, let's get this one off, the one that I grinded down, made all pretty, put a new coat of paint on it just to not use it, but it's all right, we can put it in our arsenal. hopefully this puts the pulley in the right place. It should. Alright. Do a little test fit real quick and make sure. Looks like it should be right on the front one. Oh, okay. I was kind of worried for a minute. It looked like it wasn't gonna line up, but this bracket is still kicked out. Yep, we're good. Whew. Okay. Sweet. All right. I'm gonna have to dig around in my garage. I've got the plug for this. This truck was originally external regulator for the alternator. This one's internal, which is nice. Gonna knock out a bunch of this nest over here and do this the right way. Send that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's get the adjuster bracket on here. Why does that look crooked? Is it? No, maybe not. It's my eyes playing tricks on me, maybe. Oh, let's see. Alright, let's see if this is the right size. Oh, I kind of doubt it. Is there that much of a difference? Or am I just grabbing the wrong belt? I've got some other belts laying around. Let me see what I got. I don't know if there's enough slack in this or not. Let's try. I don't know if I can get it. I don't think it'll come out that far. I doubt it. I'm just gonna have to do another parts run. So I don't think I have any other belts laying around. Found one more size that's very close, but doesn't give me any room to get it over the pulley. So we're just gonna do it like this, because it is about the right size. Need to go probably an inch bigger but it'll work. There we go. So got a little slack in it. It's not like O'Reilly's is just a couple blocks away. I have to drive to the other side of the lake, and don't want to do that right now. And I want to hurry up and get this thing test fired up with some gas in it and see what she does. All right. I'm going the right way. Think so. Okay, how do we look? Looks good. Okay. One thing I forgot to get, vacuum line. I cleaned up the wiring going down to the starter because they had a strip, a link, a strip, a link, a strip. It was just bad. So I've got, there's two wires, I don't know what they go to yet. I'll have to trace those. But we have power now going to the starter, new wire going up to the ignition, and yeah, I've got the trigger hooked up. We're going to see if we get some, I put some fuel in the tank. We're going to see if it pumps up to here, and then if it pumps up to here, then next we'll try firing this thing up. So let's see what happens. I think it's a neutral. There it goes. All right. All right, I'm getting fuel up to there. So let's turn the key on now, and we'll see what happens. Power's on. And I did wire up the alternator. I think for the most part, we'll find out. We'll get it running first, and then I can test it and see if I got it right. I think I hear gas. All right. this thing warm up for a few minutes, get it up to temperature, top it off with coolant once the thermostat opens, and then we're going to try a test drive. All right, it is working. We do have a charging system, belt, hoses, window regulator, tires, brakes. All the key ingredients are needed for right now. Tires, well, these are temporaries, but they'll work. And I was hoping to use the old exhaust system, but after closer inspection, it's pretty rotten. But I think what we're going to do is try and utilize these old glass packs. Once I chop the pipes off, we'll see what they look like on the inside, but it'd be cool to have those old retro glass packs still on here. But I think it is now time for a test drive, so let's get after it. I still haven't bled the brakes, but if you pump them a few times, they start working. Good enough for what we want to do. Let's see how she bumps off now that she's up to temperature and been running for a little bit. All right. Gears. Backfire. Oh, gonna miss the driveway. Oh, no, we're good. Get these brakes bled. Man, this old girl runs great. All right, this thing shifts beautifully now. Got to get the brakes done, but that's just a quick bleed job. But yeah, after a week of being all over this thing, it's finally done. So I apologize, it took an extra week to get this video out. We actually started working on this last week, but having to go on parts runs and wait for parts to show up and all that kind of fun stuff. So apologize about that, but old Belle is up and running. I know Chris will be real stoked to see this video, so all right, well, I guess we're gonna wrap up this one. I got to get the kiddo from school here in a little bit, and then this weekend, now that all these vehicles are moving around, we might start ripping the back of Billy Ray apart, getting that done. I need to get the drive shaft off of Clyde, because I'm going to take it over to a shop and just have them fix it, straighten it, and all that kind of stuff, get it balanced. That way we can do a real test drive on Clyde, get him going. And yeah, I'm hoping the weather cools off. That way I can do a lot more footage, because I can only film to a certain hour and then it's just unbearable. So on another note, to the sponsors that keep making offers to us, we're not going to be like a lot of the other channels that will take any sponsorship offer you throw at us. If it doesn't pertain to what we do, like we had one of you guys or one of you sponsors throw a exercise bike at us, I'm not going to take it for nothing. We don't have a use for that. So if it pertains to automotive, we might be interested. And if you send us something that we can't say anything good about, we're just not going to show it, because I'd rather, you know, be nice. But anyways, for everybody else, we really appreciate all the feedback, support, likes. Be sure to check out the merch store. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on here. Like, subscribe, all the fun things. And we'll see you in the next one.